All right. Hey, guys. What's up? Hi, Zev. Hi, Ash. Hi, Danny. All right, let's get into the game. 35 people in queue. What? I hope you guys are ready. I think we should be done with base Endwalker by the end of next week. Hopefully. So that's exciting. We'll see if it actually works out that way. Anyway, we're back at old oh, right. It'd help if I switch over the game, huh? Anyway, we didn't get a chance to talk to our friendos last night before I ended stream, so let's start with that. My affinity for espionage may have earned me the title of Archon, but I was completely unaware of the Forum's plans. There may have been clues here and there, but had I been of a mind to look for them. But contemplating that possibility only serves to further wound my pride. Not that anyone could have realistically surmised that their brilliant stratagem was to build a giant ship, fly to the moon, a still larger vessel in truth, and use that to travel to another star. Even now, the whole idea seems positively absurd when spoken aloud. Of late, I have seen no sign of the Loprits. I have. This being their first opportunity to experience the wonders of Charlian, the potential for misadventure is nigh infinite. Yeah, pudding away's getting pudding. And researching pudding. The world is ending, but he's researching pudding. Perhaps if Midgarstormer were still alive. He is! He's just asleep! In the traditional sense, that is. He could have offered to help the vessel attain the necessary speeds. Then again, there's no guarantee his contribution would make enough of a difference to matter. He should have still been more involved with this expansion. The future we pursue, what? Pudding has their priority straight. No, save the world, stop world-ending events, then Pudding. He also didn't share. He does not have his priorities straight. The further we pursue the mysteries of the universe, the more I struggle to comprehend the fortuitous nature of time itself. We measure and quantify it based on observations of celestial bodies, such as the sun and moon. But from your account, it is unclear whether the ancients viewed time in a similar manner. I mention this because while Vina knew the final days would reoccur at a defined point in time, she presumably had no way of knowing exactly when. Even so, the completion of the Forum's preparations to escape to the moon aligning so closely with the advent of the final days is surely no coincidence. I'm a little vexed that we've yet to learn of the Forum's replacement for the Anti-Tower, though I expect that in time they'll share that too with us, and with Master Matoya if they've any sense. Another character that should have been more involved in this expansion. Phew! I'll admit, bringing up the issue of the Forum's incomplete arc was more than a little daunting. They were, to their credit, quite open about the current state of affairs. What was even more surprising, though, was when they took Alphino up on his offer. While I very much take issue with the Forum's approach to selecting whom to save and when, they're not wrong for wanting to minimize potential conflicts. Fortunately, if this plan of ours actually works, the Great Exodus itself will become entirely unnecessary. Hear me out. What if they had built the moon ship so that groups that were in conflict could be separated? Rest assured, I have every intention of honoring the forum's decision. Good for you, Skippy. I prefer to face problems head on and then pudding. I would not, if I knew the world was ending and I had a choice between stop that and pudding, I don't think I could relax and enjoy the pudding until the world-ending events were over. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was, admittedly, thinking on my feet for the most part. But since we require both a means of communing with Heidelin and reaching the moon, in the spur of the moment, I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the ether burner. Noise-canceling headphones would not fix the world ending, Zev. It might allow you to more easily bury your head in the sand, but that's not actually a solution. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by... Oh, I read that already. I'd like to think it is not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how an ether burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. I mean, call Sid and Nero, boom, fixed, done. Problem solved. As Father seems so eager to help, maybe we can have him educate us about the ether burner. Fortuno's ability to maintain a stiff upper lip is being sorely tested. As instructed, I shall take you to see the ether burner. Meet me outside the Archeon. I trust you can make your own way there. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Are you surprised? Hardly surprising. Yeah, that's what I thought. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? Archeon. I don't understand the appeal of reshaping it to look like the world above. Make your peace with what it is, or go outside if that's what you prefer. Asinian, I think it's for the animals being kept here, not for the people. That we have been granted permission to enter the lower levels is proof of our increasing standing. Would that they had been willing to confide in us sooner. It has been many moons since I last visited Labyrinthos. As vast as the archives were back then, they've only continued to grow in the days since. Wait! Passage of time confirmed. If it's been months... And there's no way he could be talking about before Endwalker, because it's been a bit more than a few moons since he came here before Endwalker. Because, you know, hundreds of years of an alternate timeline and 100 years in the Crystarium and all that. So, interesting. I don't think you usually don't say many moons or like many months when you mean 300 years. I think he's talking about the last time we were here, which makes sense. Like, we did an awful lot for it to just have been a couple of days, and we have to factor in how long it would have taken us to fly to Garlemald. And the fact that we took the airship back with Fortuno and rather than teleport. No, Estinian Amaric And I kind of ship Kryl with Elfino a little bit. Oh. Here we go. Among the many and varied documents sent to the moon, I did chance upon several inventories made in the Archeon. Mayhap the Forum believed such records would provide insight into the intricacies of clerical duties. Regardless, the Loprits did not consider them or worthy of more than a cursory glance. Here's the thing. Passage of time in Final Fantasy XIV makes sense if you just view them saying that the Calamity was 5 years ago as a generalization. And then just each expansion is like a year. Maybe Shadowbringers is 6 months, because that one has some weird timey-wimey stuff going on. But, like, if you view A Realm Reborn as a year, we know because a baby was born, not in MSQ, but in, like, the sphere of the passage of time that follows MSQ in Idleshire, so that's at least 9 months, probably closer to a year. Time is not geographically relative. They had to address that when they added Kugane, and they should be hitting puberty really soon. That's it. Well, here's the thing. If you look at these two in their character models now, I would argue that they look older than they did in A Realm Reborn. And that they also look a little older than they did in Shadowbringers. So, you know, I doubt when Urianger said he hit his growth spurt when he was in his early 20s, he meant he fell asleep being this height and woke up being this height. They were 16 as of Heaven's Word. Maybe A Realm Reborn. But the lore book says they're 17. Elizin hit their second puberty when they're in their early 20s. So, yeah. But we don't know how quick that growth spurt is or how long that second puberty lasts. So, yeah. And they've grown a little bit. It's also not like everybody hits a particular growth stage at exactly the same age. Some people are early bloomers, some people are late bloomers. So who knows? But yeah, like, we know how long, at minimum, Stormblood has to have been. Because the lore book straight up tells us how long it takes to take a boat from Eorzea to the Far East, and also they give the time for going from Eorzea to Sharlayan. Because the fastest boat, best weather conditions, takes like 2 months to go from Eorzea to Ulthard. And on one hand, like, we don't know how much of an, like, I don't even remember if they were actually using the Cerulean engine on Carvelane's ship, but we don't know how much of a boost that would give. And also, I would argue that the weather during the Siren Song Sea cutscenes and that dungeon is proof that we were not traveling under optimal weather conditions. But that would have been 2 to 3 months. We know Y'shtola would have had to have taken a ship to Doma during the patch quests, which is another 2 months. And we know that from when we liberated Kugane to when the Domans showed up to help us liberate Alamigo, that had to have been at least 2 to 3 months. Because that's not just a person taking a boat. That is moving an entire army, plus their birds, We don't know what kind of ships that they were using. There's no way they could have just flown because they wouldn't have had any safe place to land flying over fucking Garlemald. So they would have had to have taken boats. It would have been incredibly stupid for them not to. And that involves the logistics of, again, moving an entire army, which means not just people, but supplies, mounts, supplies for their mounts, so on and so forth. Maybe the Confederacy helped them get a hold of boats, but yeah, so Stormblood had to have been at least 9 months just in like probably just in terms of boat travel time. Shadowbringers is more iffy because we don't know how long it takes to travel by foot around Norvrant. So maybe like a few months. And then Endwalker would have taken a pretty long amount of time because Graha just said months, or moons. They mentioned when we're in Elpis that, oh, it's been a couple days. So, yeah. Anyway, where was I? Some would surely object to the Forum allowing foreign elements to have the run of their secret facilities. We should count ourselves lucky. Maybe that's why 27 objected. Where once we were refused entry, we are now welcomed as guests. Yep. It seems so long ago we first set foot here. There's also some contradiction in the melee quests, because they say, like, when we go to, like, meet up with the Company of Heroes to ask them for help, we get told, oh yeah, they disbanded over 5 years ago. And then they're like, oh yeah, it's like the anniversary of when we disbanded 5 years to the day. It's like, those two things can't both be true. You have to pick one. It's either 5 years to the day, gee, what a coinkydink, or, which would also imply that it was less than, well, maybe not less than 5 years ago, because that's the thing too. Like, did they disband? Like, when did they disband in relation to when the calamity happened is the other question. Because they were fighting primals. But, like, you can't say, oh, yeah, it's been over 5 years, and then it's been 5 years to the day. Those are two very different things. Anyway. Do they intend to carry everything in the Archeon to the moon? They said they'd started loading scientific records and biological samples. But do they really need all of it? Hang on. Nah, I think the issues with Endwalker just come down to them rushing and Endwalker not actually being written very well. Huh? Streamer bot, what happened? Hang on. They just updated Streamer bot, so I think it's having some stability issues. Let me start that back up. Zev, I've said this before, but it's not showing up in chat. The stuff I ban is stuff that's showing up specifically in the stream chat of OBS, and it's stuff that it's telling me automod already caught. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at things on my end to see if there's some place to see like an audit of things that automod has gotten. But yeah, this is Me getting a note of held a message for using private blocked terms, expired and not posted to chat. And it only ever shows up in the stream chat of the OBS doc. It doesn't even show up in my streamerbot chat log. So, yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Fortuno, let's go. Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum, in its wisdom, has granted you access to the Archeon's lift. Step inside and have Ulfaline take you to the medial circuit. I mean, it's not a hypothesis. I was telling you explicitly what I was seeing. You wish to use the lift, yes? Yeah-huh? Oh no, I'm still crazy, or Zev's still crazy. I have sent your associates ahead to the Logisticon Alpha, or on the other side of Mariel or Ergonomics. Actually, there is something I have been meaning to... Yeah? No, never mind. It can wait. Let us attend to the matter at hand. You're welcome for making sure your kids don't end up dead. Is that what you were trying to say? Okay. I forgot there was an elevator over here. Someday, I'll be able to flap here. Also, I'm not convinced that taking the elevator and then running here was actually faster than us just taking the tunnels. Also, yeah, I'm sorry you've been having a rough week. Be sure to take care of yourself. It is very pretty in here. Every time I see a Gleaner outfit, I'm like, Aaronville? Is that Aaronville? But yeah, real talk. Part of the reason why I asked Ash and Danny if they wanted to be mods was because, like, I and Ellie are about to start up school again. And eventually we're gonna end up losing eye to the whole nursing thing entirely, probably. And you deserve to have other people helping you out with the modding. Shouldn't just all be you. And Danny and Ash are good beans, and they're around in chat a lot, so yeah. Now you guys just have to spread the good word of how awesome I am, help me get famous, and then maybe someday I can pay my mods. It's not praise, it's the truth. I wonder what this place is actually for. The further underground we go, the more surprises we find. The fields we passed along the way brought back memories of Ferndale. Unfortunately, we were never blessed with such abundant crops. Oh, Estinian! When I asked Ash if he wanted to be a mod, he literally asked me, what was in it for him, and I did in fact tell him, protection from your pro-T agenda. We must be close to the central circuit, which is where Charlene's greatest secrets are held. If the tomes I perused told the whole story. On our journey here, I was filled with an inexplicable sense of elation to see vegetables other than carrots being cultivated. Why, it near brought a tear to mine eye. Oh, that was all. Okay. Knowing the forum, even the people working down here are probably kept in the dark about the true purpose of this place. Oh, there you are. Having words with Master Fortuno, by any chance? I was. We're to wait here while our father arranges for us to use the next lift. Here being Logisticon Alpha, where the atmospheric conditions of Labyrinthos are regulated. Water is drawn from the underground and dispersed as vapor, stimulating the formation of artificial clouds and rain. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for the growth and preservation of the biological samples kept here. Hold on. How do you know so much about it? He's your brother. What are you expecting? Why, father brought me here as a child. What? And left me behind? Actually, you're the one who left me behind when you went off somewhere with grandfather. The night before, I'd been asking father how clouds are made, so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I peppered him with questions the entire time. 'Tis all too easy to take for granted the many interweaving aspects of the natural world, to grow inured to the wondrous. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanisms employed by the Loprits in recreating a similar environment, I've come to view such processes in a new light. The subterranean gardens of Labyrinthos, the lunar prison forged to contain the ancient Zodiac, the habitations built for all mankind beneath the moon's surface, each unique yet undeniably similar. 'Tis no mere coincidence. Ever since Heidelin unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits Aetheris, every essential resource we could spare has been delivered to Labyrinthos in preparation for the great exodus. But that is not all. It is also a testing ground for the technologies that will allow us to settle on distant stars. Though the Loprits have endeavored to make the moon inhabitable, that is not our final destination. Mankind must learn to propagate life where there is none, to thrive where all is barren. Alas, time is not on our side. I have arranged for you all to enter the central circuit. It is there that most of our preparations for the great exodus are carried out, the construction of the Ark among them. Though our plans have been made public, access remains highly restricted. You, however, will not be subject to said restrictions, and will have free reign to come and go as you please. Such was the will of the Forum, after all. We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust. Your trust. Then let us proceed. Okay, I just had a thought of a slight tweak I would have made to the moon. What if we had gone to, like, we know the technology to kind of recreate the illusion of the outside world exists and is used in Labyrinthos. What if we had gone to Best Ways Burrows and like noticed that, hey, this technology looks awfully familiar because it looked like we were back on the planet. By decree of the Forum, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are permitted to enter the Central Circuit. Let's go! Especially considering how obsessed the Loprits are with Aetheris. I could see them being like, oh, this is what the planet is like, let's recreate it. Adding that to my notes. Also, yeah, Ash, make sure to take care of yourself. Oh, I left off my notes. Either my notes are horrifically or disorganized, which is possible. Or I haven't written down anything since the whole Garlemald thing, which, to be fair, is where I would have ended. Or, like, Zodiark is where I would have ended 6.0. But... Oop, note on... to recreate. Having fun, Zev. Also, Yuzi's new model is so cute. I'm so happy for her. Someday I'll have my big girl model. Soon TM. Opens wallet, watches moths fly out. Although, if you guys want to help out with raising money for anything for the channel, I do have crowdfunding stuff set up on Throne. Also snacks. I should probably re-add Pocky to my Throne. Yeah, her previous one was really cute. But I think it may have been her using like a customizable pre-made one, because I've definitely seen either that or she commissioned somebody to like do one that looks very similar to a pre-made one that I've seen on VGen. Dark chocolate cranberries, that sounds so good. But like, it's nice having a VTuber model that at least kind of looks like your thing, but man, does it, like, even with my chibi, it feels really good having one that matches my, like, actual vibe and my character and stuff. There. Okay. Once again, bumming myself out by writing a version of Endwalker that I like so much more in terms of the stuff I'm messing with. I cry. This is it. The Central Circuit. Yep. Please tell me we're almost there. Or is there another underground level we have to reach? The even more Central Circuit, perhaps? I mean, if this place is multi-level, they could make other levels of Labyrinthos. Oh, imagine if there were different levels that were cut off that was each its own zone. That, damn it, hang on, I'm making myself mad again. The further down we travel, the more expansive the sky above becomes, artificial though it is. Would that the heavens elsewhere could be so idyllic. What if they had sort of also, with Labyrinthos, had it be a bit of a mirror to Katisas, with different floors being their own zone and each of those floors being a different biome? Not even discount Elpis. Labyrinthos as discount, or not even discount, because I think it might end up being a bit more expansive in terms of what I'm talking about. But being very similar to Katisas, where there's different biomes and stuff, and there could have been a volcano floor, more winter-ish floor. This would be the nice sunny spring floor, etc., etc. A desert floor. Man, that'd be so neat. Maybe we'll revisit this place someday and get that. We might finally have the chance to commune directly with Heidelin, provided we somehow manage to succeed where Charlene's finest engineers have failed. Still, it won't hurt to have a look. I mean, the problem with Charlene's finest engineers is that they're not Sid and Nero. Their problem is that they did not have our favorite Garlean husbands involved. Our favorite Garlean husbands, who are noticeably absent from this expansion. You know, the expansion where we go to Garlemald. I'm not bitter. I imagine the secrets kept here would be of great benefit to mine own research, but I will refrain from indulging my curiosity for the time being. For the time being, she says. I have no idea what makes Alphino so confident we can solve this problem of theirs. Relentless optimism, I presume. A not unwelcome trait in a youth, but less so in a gambler. Aye, let us resolve never to let him set foot in the gold saucer. Estinian, I don't want to hear that from you. The sooner we can get a look at this ether burner of theirs, the sooner we can start working out how to improve it. Betting on the Scions is like the safest bet ever. We have connections when we can't do things ourselves. No, Alphino learned his lesson with Kryl. What Estinian needs is to spend some Scion money, and then he can learn that same lesson. Go to, or not Kryl, Tataru. Go to Tataru University. On spending money, on fucking around and finding out in regards to the Scion's coin purse. The temperate environment here is not unlike that of Bestway's Burrow. The diverse vegetation doth produce a far more complex bouquet of aromas. Welcome difference indeed, for I have grown weary of the scent of carrots. You and Fortuno can bond over your dislike of carrots. And then Fortuno can ask you where your trauma comes from, and then realize that maybe he should be a little more motivated for us to save the world than he realizes. The ether burner is being constructed not far from here. Overseeing the work is Kokol Dankel, after whom the forge is named. Once the necessary introductions have been made, I shall leave you with him to discuss the particulars. This way. Afloat. Oh, wrong way. What do you mean the story is taking me not in the opposite direction of the Aetheryte? Hold on. Wait. Oh, what do you mean low battery? Hang on. What's going on, iPhone? are you not working right? Ugh. Okay, there we go. Don't know what that was all about. Okay. Now back to my rant. What do you mean it's taking me in the opposite direction of the aetheryte? Why are we going here first? Surely the forum... Oh, hang on. Something. There. Surely the forum hath already petitioned the aid of the Loprits, given their familiarity with such technology. I was expecting the Skysteel manufactory, but instead I find the village smithy. I mean, yeah. What's up with that, guys? While many of the facilities within the central circuit seem to be visible from the upper levels, the more secretive work must be carried out behind closed doors. He hasn't even realized we're here. Perhaps he has realized, but just doesn't care. For a closely guarded secret, you can see practically everything from outside, even with the magical barriers surrounding it. Is he talking to himself? He looks lost in thought, although it seems he's hit something of a stumbling block. Perhaps you'd like to break the ice. This is the man we seek. Do try not to startle him. Well, Alphino, I am good at breaking things.
Could swap them out. No, been there, done that. Damn near lost my eyebrows. Think, Coco, think! We'd be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, masterful, you know, what a pleasant surprise. We're not blasting off already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the ether burner conundrum.
Not seen you lot down here before.
We're new.
There are archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer. If not, you are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the ether burner.
Aye, aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the ether burner burns ether, ambient or otherwise, and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding.
Cool. Does he know that there's a lack of ether in space?
Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb.
Oh.
But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the Forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient. a measly 6%, you say? But if I could have squeezed even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Hast thou consulted with the Loperids?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say, and as I most certainly do not.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology! You're trying to drive me mad!
Do you speak of Allegan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allegan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded. As I recall, the record stated it was vital to Dalamud's construction and launch.
Aye, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. Slotting some ins like blowing up a dam and watching the river of ether come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it though. We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the ether burner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the Northern Empty during the calamity. With more, well, that extra 6% efficiency would be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
Gee, if only you knew an organization with connections all over the world.
Surely the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with. Drive calls from Ragnarok-class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need.
Isn't there like a Ragnarok class ship crashed on the moon?
According to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up.
Alize know, and I know that from first-hand experience, actually. Haha, it's no big deal.
It's rough going in there, even for the cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
Weren't we near that part of the Ragnarok when we went to destroy Bahamut?
In the meantime, Fortuno's just like, when you went to do what? You want me to go and fetch the Watsits?
That may be for the best, though you doubtless find the task too dull for your liking.
It's fine. I could use the light workout.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option.
Yeah, this is why you do everything. So that way the NPCs acknowledge it in MSQ.
Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously.
Why do you think I've done every single little bit of content as I've worked my way through the game?
Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours.
I am crazy,
What's
but that
all
has nothing to
this?
do with it.
Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward.
Man, what a good line for him.
This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12's expedition myself.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Maybe something in Oz's law?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether. Any extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists or enthusiasts.
I bet that particular line only required you to get past like T9. I almost forgot the name of the raid series, but yeah, considering the fact that they don't really reference anything past 12, and maybe Fortuno shouldn't know about Phoenix. Of all people who shouldn't know about Phoenix, maybe Fortuno is absolutely one of them. But it looks like the trigger for that, based off of the options, probably is specific to T9.
Magical artifacts of Allegan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all. Are there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What did you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad. Anyway, if you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal. Combine a source like that with the ether burner, and 3, 2, 1, kaboom!
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship. I am glad for the work, in truth. Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? There's plunder for the taking. And I'm a born plunderer.
Oh, are you?
I'll be an old Charlian before you know it. Start mixing the grog.
I'm certain that can be arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Aye, just like that. Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
I think it would have been interesting if Fortuno had maybe been portrayed as... I mean, I think there's a little bit of this here, but like not really fully acknowledging that his kids are grown up and capable of doing shit without him until this point. Because I know this is a problem I run into in my 30s where I have to like constantly be like, Mom, I'm not 5 anymore. Please acknowledge the fact that your child is a grown-up now. Posture check stretchies and hydrate, everybody! Nom. Kaboom! But yeah, since we're about to go into an ad break, I'm gonna finish that quest when we get back. But yeah, Sickard's all about that booty. I'm sure that's something Amadelaine is very, very aware of. I wonder if I'll get to the point in MSQ where they show up at Moonfire Fair. I was gonna feed them during this ad break, actually. But I wonder if I'm gonna be able to like pop by the Queen Lamine and I ate. Leave me alone. Stop bullying me. Anyway, I go feed cats now. I will be right back. All right, we're back. Now, did I already talk to everybody? Oh, no, I hadn't. Right, because we just ended the cutscene. Okay. What serendipitous irony that the remnants of the seventh umbral calamity would become the keys to mankind's salvation. Never more certain have I been that Master Louisoix watcheth over us from the ethereal sea. Considering how much of a fuss he made at the time, I don't see why he takes every opportunity to bring it up. It was just firewood. I'm confident that even the deadliest of Allegan defense mechanisms are no match for our allies. At this rate, some of them might soon have as many accomplishments to their names as a certain warrior of light. Who, me? First the Telepharoi, and now the final days. Heh, no one can accuse the Ilsebard contingent of backing down from a challenge. Of course, they weren't also committed to the cause when we first set out. But after seeing the example set by you, Alphino, and the others, the change was palpable. They couldn't help but believe. Though Bahamut is long gone, the internment hulks are far from safe. It could be much worse, of course. They won't have to fight their way past Mericidian dragons, nor is there any danger the Elder Primal might be summoned again. You have to go to bed? Alright, you have a good night, Ash. Take care of yourself. Give Mona hugs and boops for me. Even so, I dare say there are still a fair few Allegan creations and contraptions remaining to bar our friends away. I only hope that Grandfather watches over them. There are no oaths or contracts binding the members of the Ilsebard contingent, and in many ways, it was even more loosely organized than the Crystal Braves. Nevertheless, I knew none would refuse this call to arms. Truly, we have been blessed with trustworthy and dependable allies. Appreciate you doing all this, but I ain't getting me hopes up just yet. We'll be fine. Oh, right. Fortuno, like, walked away, didn't he? I wanted to talk to him. Oh, well. It's times like these we're reminded of how famous, or infamous, Alphino has become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with a single link pearl conversation? As we're expecting rather a lot of visitors in the near future, I'd best return to the surface and inform the relevant parties. I also have a contact of my own that might be worth a try. Oh, and who might that be? That's for me to know, and you to find out. On that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck. Please don't let it be Rowena. Meanwhile, in Ul'dah.
Our course of action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Dalamud and procure arcane relics of Allegan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Sultan Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must. Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Viergeist, we have need of your stone torches. They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins and to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the Stone Torches, my son Zimberk will personally see it done.
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble all your finest, and with Tizona's blade clear the way. Lord Lolorito, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults. Of course, I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it. The final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Uldar's best efforts may be for naught. And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth? That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together. It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Uldar will answer that call. We will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
She's grown up so much. I'm so proud of her. Meanwhile, in the Black Shroud.
We fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamud's defenses.
It's called a war of attrition.
Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
Oh, look! They remembered...
In that case, might I suggest taking us along?
Oh...
Commander Hext, what are you doing here?
None of the shards in Girabania are big enough to hold an internment hulk. So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbors a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Our deficiency is so plain to see.
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the Scions assigned to the Shroud. I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come. Let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
Okay. So one of the things I would have done if I had written Stormblood was include the conflict between the Gridanians and Alamegans, and the fact that there were some people...
It will be for nothing. I promise you, Papalima.
Oh, Lise! But anyway, I would have included some of that conflict about Gridanians not wanting to help Alamigo and the bad blood between the Alamegans and the Gridanians into MSQ, because I feel like that's important world building and shouldn't have been relegated to just the Bard quests. And that would have made this moment of the Alamegans and the Gridanians coming together to help each other that much better, I think. Also, oh,
there you are.
Oh,
we've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already...
How dare they? I don't think I ever got a a good screenshot of that. So
That was a roar. A dragon's roar.
but man, the brothers paying respect to Horshaphant. God damn it. Meanwhile, in the Ruby Sea.
And so, in summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honorable Lord Lolorito himself, reached out to me for assistance in procuring these treasures of the divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid. Hmm? Is that...
Hancock? What a surprise this is. And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
Oh, right. Because I did the Four Lords. Hey, level 90. I have reawakened. Fucking finally. I can't wait to lose it when I get item level synced for the dungeon. Oh, are you guys still just saying the same thing? Yeah, okay. I know how to play the job. Alphino is resisting the urge to pat himself on the back. Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they have arrived. In the meantime, is there aught else we might do to be of service? Ha! You've already done more than enough. If I had to say, though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about elegant technology. You there, the lad with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than the average scholar. He did write his dissertation on it. Ha! If only Master Kokol knew how right he was. While he and Graha establish a rapport, why don't we help with preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favor. As confident as I am that we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics of traversing the Great Expanse. And if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Alright, let's get to it. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you've a mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlie and Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types, busying themselves to preparing for the Exodus. Ha! That lot need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. I'll admit, without refined adamantite, I ain't got a bloody clue how else I could get the ether burner performing any better. If you lot don't come up with the goods, we're buggered. I shall endeavor to provide Master Kokol with whatever information he should require. Alrighty, off we go. But yeah, like, imagine if they had leaned a little more in Stormblood on the At least early on, even just for like a quest. Like the bad blood between Alamigo and Gridania. Purely so that way we could have that really incredible moment of them coming together to stop the final days. Oh, there was something else I was thinking about that was kind of related. Oh, I think it had to do with like, oh yeah, imagine if we'd been able to go to Korthos or Corvos. Exactly. Also, I'm just mad from a world building perspective that something that, hey, seems kind of important to the world building got shoved into job quests. In order to protect the secrets of the Central Circuit, the researchers must navigate a bewildering maze of paperwork before they are permitted to return to the surface. I suppose it's no different than any other aspect of Charlian society. We do love our bureaucracy. It's very much a mirror of the city above, which is perhaps how it came to be called Charlian Hamlet. What a quaint little settlement this is. A shame it is hidden underground. I don't mind a bit of heavy lifting, but I draw the line at paperwork. So much as wave a sheaf of documents at me and I'll put my lance through it. As surprised as I was to learn the Forum planned to send everyone to the moon, I can't imagine how the common folk must feel about it. That's the thing, they weren't planning on sending everyone to the moon. They were planning on picking and choosing. Do my senses deceive me? In the shadow of yon corner. One can but hope this leadeth not to mischievous undertakings. Wait, are they visible already? Hang on. Not yet. In order to protect the oh, I already read that. Okay. Hi, Alize. From what I can tell, a lot of the people actually live down here. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from some of that fresh inspiration Scholar Monteshane mentioned. Let's start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Let's meet by the Aetheryte once our work is done. Yeah, side quest time! And we're gonna start with attuning to the Aetheryte. But yeah, we're gonna start out doing these on Dark Knight, and we're gonna try and get as much experience as we can. Before I just like do roulettes and stuff off stream to get everybody to 90. Well met, traveler. Might I interest you in a chocobo porter? Yeah. We know how that works. Thank you. We'll start. Let's start over here. A distressed chef. All right. A consternated chef despairs at her present predicament. Heavens forfend! To think this would happen in my kitchen. The nerve. Oh, you there. Yes, you. You've the look of a woman who knows what she's about, and I'm in desperate need of one such as you. Picked myself a bushel of Mariel ergonomics apples, but wouldn't you know, some nasty mandragora swiped those bread beauties from under my nose. Not sure how they got in here in the first place, but that's beside the point. I could well try to steal them back myself, but goodness knows how many hours it'd be before I stumbled upon that blasted bandit. I'm only one woman. I can't cover all that ground by myself. So be a friend and help me get my apples back, would you? I don't know how asking me saves you time, but okay. I just knew you'd oblige me. Now, then, let's talk strategy. I'll scour the area just south of here, so you take the north. Deal? Ah. Mandragores bury themselves in the dirt to hide, so if you see one of their bulbous heads poking out of the soil, hit them with one of these malodorous bombs. They'll be so surprised to get a face full of stink, they'll leap out and leave behind my apples. The thief will probably take off running, but let them go. I just want my pilfered fruit returned. Besides, Mandragora carcass isn't on the menu tonight. Right then, I'll leave you to your search. Happy hunting. That doesn't actually save time. That just saves effort, which, like, fair, but those are not the same thing, actually. Also, does that mean they eat mandragoras? They never really addressed that before in the game, I don't think. Are mandragoras edible? Oh, this circle is for MSQ. Okay. Then I am safe to ignore that. Charmont's eyes have a faraway look about them, as if he is thinking of great thoughts. What luck! You are just the gallant sort I was in search of. You see, I've whipped up an experimental new tincture, one that brings low a certain type of fiend. I'd hoped a brave adventurer might test its efficacy for me in the field. And since you're here, perhaps you could fill that role. How were you planning on finding an adventurer otherwise? You were just gonna stand around here in this restricted area waiting? Now then, about this solution of mine. With the help of some gleaners, I've crafted a concoction that can incinerate even the hardest of seedkin's casings, allowing one to make quick work of the beasts. Or so my hypothesis goes, anyway. Alas, my genius remains untested and thus unproven, which is where you come in. One so well versed in the ways of war should have no trouble at all verifying the tincture's efficacy, I should think. Based on the information I have ascertained, an oversized Burkhannon can be found wandering about to the west of Logisticon Beta. Douse that sadistic seedkin in my newest nostrum, and bash it into a bloody pulp for me, would you? Damn, sounds like you have some aggression that needs to be worked out. A veterinarian in Charlian Hamlet is wrangling with a beast of a problem. Excuse me, ma'am. I couldn't help but notice that you've a way about you that simply screams, I have an affinity for creatures of the wilds. And since I'm never wrong about such things, might I trouble you? You see, among the troops of trolls living in the outer circuit, I came upon one who was sick and beyond measure. I took the poor creature in at once and saw him healed, of course. But when I attempted to return him to his rightful home, he flew into a panic, as if he could not bear the thought of going back. To make matters worse, the trolls saw fit to escape into a den of analas. I would go after him, but I'm so fumble-footed I'm scared I'll scare him off like as not, and be torn limb from limb by for my pains by the fiends. So I turn to you. Oh, excuse me. Would you seek out this troll of which I spoke? I shall provide you with his favorite food, and with it you should be able to calm the piteous thing. Hopefully that will be enough to see his senses restored and for him to come hurrying back. And though I shudder to think of it, if any of those Felinalas seek to impede you or pester that troll, make those beasts regret their interference. Oh, and don't worry, you will be rewarded for your efforts. Say no more! We love monetary compensation in exchange for labor. Fiola seeks those in possession of both a green thumb and a penchant for punishing plants. Oh my! The ways of Thaliak are as mysterious as they are providential. To think a woman so robust as you would appear before me in my hour of need. If this is not divine intervention, I know not what is. What do you need? I face a trial for which I am not equal, nor shall ever be. It involves the capture of my most feared nemesis. Tomatoes. You see, I can barely speak the vile beast's name without my gorge rising. You would do well to consider my offer, truly. I have money set aside, quite a bit of it, in fact. If you need, or all you need do is capture one of those vile vegetables. You'll find them near Mariel ergonomics, and they are quite hard to miss, discussing things that they are. The reactor operator is wearing a most impatient look. Excuse me, but can I trouble you for a moment? I'm looking for someone, you see, and I was hoping you might help. I was due to receive a pair of beasts captured in St. Mausian's Arboretum, but the gleaner who's meant to make the delivery has yet to appear, and I've grown rather tired of waiting. I tried reaching him via link pearl, but to no avail. I'm tempted to go out and search for him myself, but what if he arrives and I'm not there? So, would you be willing to find said gleaner for me? Thank you. He ought to be relatively easy to spot, I should think, considering he's traveling with 2 mud-covered seedkin. Search west of here, first. I'll check around here, just to make sure he's not rounding the corner or some such. Should you find him before I do, hurry back here, will you? Okay. Now, I am going to save this etherite as my home point. And away we go. As soon as we find the exit to this place. Here we go. Maybe not. There it is. Wait, no, there should be an exit up here. It shows it on my map. Yeah, that's what I thought. The tree was just blocking it. Okay. Peculiar vegetable. Was it this? No. This? Yes. The gobsmacked garlic is so affronted by your pestering, it has fled. It does not appear to be the culprit you are after. That's right, I forgot. They're mandragoras, so they're screaming. Ah! The offended onion takes no leave of you as it darts off. It does not appear to be the culprit you are after. Okay, last one. Whoop, that's not what I wanted. There we go. There we go. The quizzical queen up and flees in a flustered state, leaving behind apples. It would appear that this knavish mandragora was behind the fruit napping. I will take this and this and this and this as well and this. All right. Missing gleamer. Why is the smoke here coming out purple? Oh. Yeah, why is the smoke here purple? That seems like a problem. That seems like a case of one of these things is not like the other. I'm pretty sure. Not Aaronville. Sad. How may I help you, cleaner who is not Aaronville? Ugh, thank goodness you're here. Prabhasa caught me by surprise. Gave me a nasty shock. But what are you doing all the way out here? Wait a minute. Ah, of course. I suppose all this waiting would make anyone rather nervous. I'll give my apologies to the operator when I deliver these specimens. Oh, those Prabhasa. Okay. As for the specimens themselves, well, let's just say I'm rather surprised they're still in one piece, despite being bathed in lightning. Their Earth alignment probably saved them, come to think of it. At any rate, thank you, kind stranger. Doubt I'd still be among the living if not for your aid. Right then, I'd better get going. Don't want to keep the operator waiting any longer than he already has. Last one. Is this a real elevator? Or is this fake? I want to... Can I get up there? Wait. How do I get up there? Over here? Oh, right. Use this to make my life easier. Let's also bring out River. Heck yeah. That's fine. I meant to hit return. Let me start over here, turn in these quests, head in the other direction. Oh, there we go. There you are. I was wondering when I would see you again. The Gleaner told me everything that happened. How you got him out of a tight spot. He seems to have escaped largely unscathed, but the Carugians are having him or giving him a thorough inspection just in case. You may not know this, but they're actually a variety of Corpacur. Only these happen to be smeared in a unique type of mud originating from the Arboretum. Judging by the look on your face, you already know of this species, don't you? Yes, something tells me you're already quite intimate with the Arboretum. Isn't it just a wonderful place? You must be wondering why I required these muddy little things. Well, I had a theory that their earth alignment might prove to be of use in the amplification of said element. I had not expected such an unfortunate accident would come out of my curiosity, though. Well, we're none of us the worse for wear, so perhaps not that unfortunate. The Gleaner's still alive and kicking, and the samples made it safely here. All thanks to you, of course. So, all's well that ends well, yes? Sure, I'll let you keep believing that. Yeah! Alright. I'm gonna finish these up on Bard. Actually, I'm gonna keep doing Dark Knight, because if I had to choose, I'd rather do roulettes on Bard and Summoner. Might as well supplement my Dark Knight experience with... Well, I guess it doesn't really matter, because one Frontlines roulette will probably get me to... pretty close, if not all the way to 90. Ah, there you are. I've come up empty-handed, sad as that is to admit. How did you fare? Were you able to recover the apples? Yep. Apples of a size so gargantuan you find your gorge rising a little. A shame, since apples are a rather innocuous fruit, really. You were! Oh my, I can't thank you enough. Goodness me. Now that I have a proper look at them, they're rather enormous, aren't they? Funny how I didn't see that before. Labyrinthos, as you've surely noticed, is entirely man-made, and our continued prosperity is thanks in part to the elemental reactor and the fall sun. Although, if truth be told, those two things are likely to blame for our oversized fruit. Word is, there's research afoot to see if the above-ground orchards could produce something of a similar size as well. Given what little we know, though, I'm sure that day is quite a long way off. Oh, begging your pardon. Here I am talking your ear off when I'm sure you've better things to be getting on with. Heavens no, I certainly do. Apple pies don't bake themselves now, do they? Thank you again for your help. I want apple pie. That's my favorite kind of pie. Why, not a scratch on you. I take it this, or take this to mean my serum did its job then? Yeah, huh? You have an option for I didn't bother using it? Incredible. Is that so? Goodness, my genius is rather startling, isn't it? That was a tincture most hastily thrown together. Nary a thought was put into it. At any rate, I thank you for your services rendered. Here, for your troubles. Well then, I must return to my pondering. These theories of mine won't hypothesize themselves. What's the best way out of here? I guess this works. Just gotta... There we go. Oh, I guess the different colored smoke coming out of these things is normal? Apparently? Okay. Oh no! Leave the baby alone! No troll can resist a fruit this ripe in more than one way, according to your olfactory senses. Oh. Mwah! We are, in fact, using the lift, because I'm pretty sure this is faster than teleporting to the other etherite, and I can't fly. Oh, right, I have access to the elevator now. Oh, well, it's fine. I am operating off of a very good master plan. Tomato! Hi there, buddy. There we go. And now we just teleport back. Easy peasy. Well, were you able to capture one of those terrible tomatoes? This is so sad, because I love tomatoes. You can feel how this sentient tomato struggles to escape its confines. Luckily, this sack muffles its piercing screams. Pardon me. Even in this sack, I cannot stomach the wretches. But better better in than out, I suppose. At least it won't get its disastrously painful juices into anyone's eyes. You must be curious as to why why tomatoes maddened into violence were running amok. Well, the truth is, a gleaner had sowed congeries of vegetable seeds to cultivate on the plantation, and a few of these vermin managed to slip in unnoticed. The soil was exceptionally fertile by the looks of it, and because the creatures proliferated with alarming ease, more so than anyone could have possibly guessed. Oh, because the creatures proliferated with alarming ease, more so than anyone could have possibly guessed. And to prove this tale with an even stranger twist, or to provide this tale with an even stranger twist, the juices they squirted into my eyes had a salubrious effect. I no longer have need of my glasses. I can see with perfect clarity now. Though I was in a great deal of pain, mind you. Well, when life gives you tomatoes, eye juice? No, that hasn't a very pithy ring to it at all. At any rate, your services have been most helpful. I will begin my research as soon as I am back in the laboratory. Ah, and before I forget, your reward. Look, he's returned. I can't thank you enough. I know they may not look it, but trolls are really quite intelligent. Indeed, they are an intrinsic part of the woodlands of Labyrinthos and keep it healthy and thriving. Though we have a responsibility to put down the more violent and unruly ones, most trolls, such as this one, are kind, docile things. In fact, my friend here has a real chance of becoming leader of his tribe, perhaps even guardian of the forest someday. It is we who saw these creatures removed from their natural habitats and relocated them within Labyrinthos. Thus, we've a responsibility to watch over them, to ensure they are well. And it would be too cruel to dispose of one simply because they're under the weather. Ah, yes, your reward. Here, as promised. Now then, it's high time I saw this fellow returned to the outer circuit. Farewell, adventurer. Okay. Back to MSQ. Oh, hello. Are you one of the new helpers? Something like that. Working on the ether burner? Oh dear. I hear things have come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I'd choose that over my current duties. Checking and loading samples day in, day out. It's tiring, thankless work. Still, no one will be cross if I misplace a few legumes or what have you. The forum's got enough on their plate as it is, what with deciding who gets to board the Ark and when. A lot of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to Master Fortuno and the others. Hardly get a moment's rest, I expect. Do they even have time to sleep? Yeah, the fact that they're like, yeah, we're gonna pick and choose who gets to go is gross. And I don't think what Vana would have had in mind. Heidelin? Who knows? Vana? Helping with the Ark? Even with all the power Master Kokol's managed to squeeze out of the Aether Burner, it's still not enough, apparently. And now I hear the final days have arrived. Horrible creatures running rampant all over. If only we'd begun the exodus sooner. People are dying, and there'll be no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. First of all, how the fuck have the final days not reached Charlian with people, like, having a crisis of faith about them being able to pull off this whole exodus thing? Second of all, I still question the whole, oh yeah, once we get on the moon, we'll be safe logic. But we will. We've spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in the plan, and all will be well. Where is the last one? Somewhere around here? No. Ah, here we go. Offering to help? That's very kind, but I should be able to organize the rest of the documents by myself. It's mostly lists of the things we'll need once we arrive on the moon. And then whichever star we choose as our new home. My duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions, so I'll be a lot busier after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person after having communication with them in such a limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I've not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous, looming giants. Why, I would much prefer something small and fluffy, like that beheaded rabbit that ran by. Like the what? Okay, we're gonna find this. Never mind, found him. Let me rephrase that. Found them. Anyway, we will continue. After the ad break. So yeah, I will see you guys in a few minutes. All right, we're back. Get that hydration in. Now, what are you guys doing here? Oh wait, I didn't need to read that. Let me... What joy to sample the delights of Aetheris. Uh-huh. It would appear the Loprits have infiltrated Charlian's most heavily guarded facility. How, I know not. Because they're just little guys. How marvelous it is to see you again. You'll be pleased to hear I have learned much since our fascinating discussion at the Curatorium. It's all thanks to Urianger, you see. He's taught me the finer points of cooking, which, despite my name, I knew very little about. So many dishes, so many hard-to-pronounce words. Actually, I was rather hoping he'd show me how to bake an Archon loaf. They're quite popular, I hear, though it doesn't sound like it contains any flavor to speak of. Still, if that's the sort of thing your kind enjoys, I shall make enough to last the whole journey. No, don't... Urianger, stop talking. Crikey! I wasn't expecting to see you here, Shizune. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to say goodbye. And for, having those other Loprits attack you. Terrible misunderstanding, that. Not to worry, though, as all have since recovered from the rather savage beating you administered. I was holding back. They bear you no ill will. Well, perhaps a little on account of the savagery, but time heals all wounds. Most, anyway. Oh, right. Alright, what are you guys doing here? Fancy meeting you here, Shizune. Our friends in the forum brought us to see their teeny tiny toy boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we're really interested in is Aetheris itself, though we now find ourselves in a sort of funny underground miniaturized version of it. We were hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they're rather preoccupied. Honestly, all that time to prepare, and they're still not ready. I suppose we'll have to show ourselves around, or at least that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Urianger and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest. Won't that be fun? Yeah, super. If you're too busy to show us the sights, we'll find other ways to keep ourselves amused. Don't you worry. I am super worried. Okay. Yeah, you guys are saying the same thing. Alright. Try as he might, Urianger cannot free himself of the Loprits. This is your own doing. A tour of Labyrinthos? An unexpected, yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarities betwixt this artificial environment and Bestway's burrow, it would be in our best interest to have the Loprits acquaint themselves with these conditions, or with those conditions deemed optimal by their Charlian collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing rather than broadening their perspectives. Mayhap thou art better suited to lead this venture. What a marvelous idea! Might we begin with that great big what's-it over yonder? Ah, yes. The what's-it. I shall leave its explanation to Shizune. Which what's-it? What do you mean, what's-it? Oh, this? The building? Oh, I just accidentally flashed you guys, didn't I? Maybe I need to think my glamour through a little bit better. Or just keep trucking along through MSQ until I can get artifact gear. Not that Viper actually gets proper artifact gear at this level, but The Loprits' technical expertise doth far outstrip our own. We would be wise to allow them to form their own conclusions as to the function of the various apparatus, rather than offer uninformed suppositions of our own. Unless, that is, unbeknownst to me, thou art possessed of surpassing knowledge concerning the construction and operation of advanced Charlian whatsits. Considering Singing Way and Growing Way specialties, I expect them to pay full attention to your explanations, which I am sure will be most informative. Wait, Living Way, why does that sound like that means you're not gonna pay attention? This is all very intriguing, I'm sure. But what were but where are the food preparation stations? The, what was your word for it? Kitchens? That reminds me, Pudding Way, our newly appointed chief of pudding research, a discipline he himself founded after sampling Uriange's solates, has gone in search of Aetheris's ultimate sweet treat. Well, provided it's a pudding, as that's all he ever talks about these days. Have you seen him? Yeah, he's fine. But not you. My word! What magnificent architecture! Such immaculate curvature. I'll have to make several adjustments to my work if I'm to match this degree of craftsmanship. I shall leave no corner unrounded. Goodness me! To build something so large without creation magics is positively stupendous. Perhaps we could direct our attention to its most important features? Splendid! The perfect spot from which to view this astonishing apparatus. Search the apparatus for points of potential interest. You may move the camera as well as zoom, blah, blah, blah. Yep. Why don't they give us a tutorial thing for that? This works the same every time. Oh, yeah. Oh, buddy. You spot an ambystoma, an especially lively one at that. It would appear that the concept you observed in another time, another place, was approved for life in the wider world. Somehow. Baby! That was cute. I don't suppose there's also a certain little bird watching. Please, that'd be so funny. It's a little hard to see from here, but is that a golden pipe connected to the top of those tanks? And I can see through that window another pipe at the bottom. Ah, this must be for purifying water drawn from below. Or drawn up from below. Night, Danny. You sleep well. Yeah, we'll definitely hang out tomorrow. Organize some mischief of some kind. Oh, right, we're going to be dragging Ash through the Alliance raids if he's still up for it. I think that was the plan. That looks like the trees in Great Ascensvale. Hold on, that's a bit of a strange shape. It's thin at the bottom, but big and round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced, too. Now it makes sense. That's where they store the water. Uh-huh. Oh, I have quite a bit of range over here, huh? Okay, Is that water here from inside the great big tube? It must be because of those cogs and that gigantic wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they draw up the water. There's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside it, too. Well, if I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and stored in that tower before being distributed elsewhere. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it. A design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would take only a moment to install it in even the harshest of environments. For us Loprits, that is. Indeed, securing a reliable source of water is of the utmost importance for any fledgling settlement. We have read, however, that peoples of Aetheris sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? Many settlements in Thanalan are built near an oasis. So, whenever or wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear, I worry we won't be able to produce the necessary amount or procure the necessary amount. We can provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear they rely on it far more than we'd anticipated. Shouldn't Hydaelyn have told you about this? Yeah, Ash has to wake up at what? Like, Ash and Danny have to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning for their jobs. Gotta love that freelancer life. A few adjustments may be in order. Once we've calculated the average rate of consumption per individual, it may also be worth learning more about how exactly they obtain their water in the first place. Master Alphino spoke of the machinery responsible for that feat during our journey through the Logisticon Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the Loprits will share his appreciation for the engineering marvel. Oh yes, that sounds absolutely splendid. We must journey beyond the sanctuary of Charlie Hamlet. I shall lead the way. You mean we'll have to brave the untamed wilderness? This is a very tamed wilderness, actually. A valid concern indeed. We could not help but notice the many dangerous-looking creatures with big and nasty teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of the settlement. You guys live in a facility full of hostile robots. Were we not escorted here by burly custodians, I dread to think what would have become of us. Regrettably, too many a hungry predator with the aforementioned big, nasty teeth. Loprits may appear to be a potential and rather appetizing source of sustenance. Might I impose upon thee to assist in securing safe passage to Logisticon Alpha? For my part, I shall act as escort to Living Way and Cooking Way, and trust Singing Way and Growing Way to thy care. You got it! A more valiant protector they could not wish for. Godspeed. If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not be eaten by some horrid beastie. Come along, Growing Way, to the water extraction Whatsit. Don't run ahead of your bodyguard, guys. You're gonna make my job harder. Gasp! It's purple smoke! Perhaps you could tell the local beasties we're not nearly as delicious as we might appear. I have a feeling the way forward is not as clear as we'd like. Could you go and take a look? Yeah, I'll take care of it. And let me get my partner out. There we go. say, that fiend had a mind to feast on roasted loprit. Thank you so much. I really hope this water extraction is worth these harrowing experiences. All part of the fun, some might say, but I'd rather not be burnt to a crisp if it's all the same to you. You guys do know that these things are down here because they're samples that we're gonna be bringing with us, right? Let's get moving. That building looks nice and solid and safe. That was all very exciting, but I'd rather not do it again. Wait, how exactly were we planning to head back later? What, you mean you guys didn't attune to the aetheryte? You've done well to see those who are here safely. They can be a bit skittish at the best of times, so I'm pleasantly surprised they didn't run off and get themselves killed. I couldn't help noticing a distinct lack of carrots along the way, or many of the other vegetables I was expecting to see, though I did catch a glimpse of some sort of bipedal tomato charging about. Must be my imagination. My friends, I bid you welcome to Logisticon Alpha. Our destination doth lie at the lift's top. Pray follow me. Forgive me for asking, but are we any closer to the kitchens? Come to think of it, why even here? Atmospheric manipulators are hardly my area of expertise. As I understand, places like Labyrinthos are the exception rather than the rule. You don't all build enormous underground living spaces like this, surely? That was terrifying, but at least the scenery was more pleasant than Wasn'name, Garlemald. As a first impression of Aetheris, it was far from favorable. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Quite literally, as is the case here. Oh wait, I forgot to talk to Arianje. Marvelous, simply marvelous. So this is where the magic, or science rather, takes place. The perfect environment to sustain life, artificially created. The knowledge we'll gain here will be essential when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently, most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. Uh-huh. You're all very lucky that Aetheris just so happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out the way they are because of the available resources, I wonder? Probably that second one. Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous, and I cannot wait to see more of it. Okay, but hang on, let me talk to Arianje. On this occasion, it would behoove us to seek the counsel of those qualified to describe the workings of the apparatus. They may also be in possession of schematics or other useful documentation should the Loprits request them. As the forum's esteemed guests, 'tis unlikely that they would be refused, yet thou knowest as well as I the changeable dispositions of Sharlayan bureaucrats. Uh-huh. I should like to study this primitive yet nevertheless intriguing contraption a while longer, if I may. That the Sharlayans were able to build something of this complexity with their limited knowledge and resources is most impressive. Cookingway is eager for a change of venue, or at the very least, a change of what's it. This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I was rather hoping to learn more about your nourishment provision facilities. In other words, where There's the food. I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at Mariel Agronomics. Or Agronomics. As I imagine Singingway and the others tend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus, or intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus, wouldst thou be so kind as to escort our visiting culinarian? Yes, that sounds much more interesting. Hopefully, I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Urianger was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if not a bit too verbose, descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention, Aetheris will soon be no more, so I must learn all I can while there is still time. Let us brook no further delay. Okay. They're still saying the same thing. Oh. It would appear I have inadvertently taken upon myself the more demanding duty, entertaining 3 inquisitive loprits to thy 1. Yet be that as it may, it will be my pleasure to impart what little knowledge I possess to our would-be saviors. This is the place, yes? The heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I've spotted several of the fruit and vegetables featured in our compendium. I'd dearly love to try some, but I've read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crops without permission are often caught and put into pies. Perhaps you could ask whoever's in charge if they would be willing to part with a few samples? I suppose if they did put me in a pie, I could just eat my way out. Wait, they get quite hot inside, don't they? On second thought, let's stick to the plan for now. Growing or cooking way, you think they leave you alive before they put you in the pie? Do you know what a pie is? Ah, what a fine mess this is. Everything all right? Ah, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the exodus. And I'm not the only one. We've all got to find ways to do what we can't, or what we do down here up there. First on the moon, then on whichever star the Forum decides will become our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. Don't you want to go to the moon? Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us. But no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive in their new environment. So many species doomed to extinction. Sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely wish to sample a little of your produce, if we may. By all means, help yourself. Much appreciated, my good fellow. So, where to begin? As Urianger informs me, the key to exquisite cuisine lies in selecting only the very best ingredients. Yeah, I just don't know if Urianger is the best one to judge on that. I have an enormous list of seeds, saplings, and whatnot to take to the central circuit. But I suppose that means anything not on the list is to be left behind. What a waste. We're not gonna leave nothing behind. Ooh, grapes. Oh, I know what these are. Grapes, yes? Let's see if they're as delicious as they look. smells much like a ripe philosopher's carrot, and yet the texture is entirely different. Wait, so the carrots are just like, they're grape-flavored carrots? I hate that. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Well, that's certainly given me food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what is your opinion of grapes? I'd brave an erupting volcano for a choice grape. Read the Tales from the Shadows, that's what that's referencing. Yes, they are rather orange, aren't they? And from what I've read, quite versatile too. Something about people sipping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next threat. Or treat, oh my god. On to the next treat, not threat. What is wrong with me? I know what's wrong with me, I'm sleep deprived. Orange by name, orange by nature. What came first, the fruit or the color? Who cares? Let's eat. Actually, I believe it was the color. Or no, I mean, I think it was the fruit. The color gets its name from the fruit, I believe. Otherwise, it was just, like, I think before that, it was just considered a shade of red or a shade of yellow. Yes, that's it. Or that's, equal parts sweet and sour, as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult Urianger about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. Citrusy is a good one. Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter. This is all very complicated, you know. So many flavors, so many choices, and each individual with their own personal preferences. Now I see why you all turned your nose up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous though they still are in my estimation, but no one said otherwise. Ah, but speaking of carrots, I've yet to sample any of the vegetables. Let's see what's in that field over there. It's oh, you're still saying the same thing. All right. That color, that texture. Are they some sort of enormous round carrots? No, these are pumpkins. No, in any case, proper nomenclature is less of a concern than the taste. These are better cooked. Blech! It's so hard and flavorless, I may as well be chewing on a piece of wood. That all but confirms it. These are nothing like, these are nothing more than misbegotten failures, masquerading as goodly carrots. Stop, stop, stop! Can't you see these are pumpkins? And no one with any sense would try eating them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Yeah, I was trying to tell him that. Do you not find it an awful bother? Far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself. And what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we may safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favorite dishes for as long as I can remember. Then perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. I wonder, though, if there's anything even more delicious. How about that yellow fruit over yonder? Our gourds seem unfazed by the chaos occurring around us. If only we too could live our lives as peacefully as pumpkins. What a wondrous fragrance! With luck, it'll have a flavor to match. As I have no idea how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it. Wait, no, wait. My tongue? Is this poison? It's a lemon. A lemon? You mean it's supposed to taste like this? How can something so similar to an orange be so revolting? You have to acquire the taste for it. It may be some time before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I had best call an end to this round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Good grief! I fear that lemon has irrevocably ruined my sense of taste. Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking. I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges, less so the pumpkin, though I learned the hard way they're not to be eaten raw. Then there was the lemon, the deceiver. I still feel so violated. First time, was it? I'd hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth, in more ways than one, so I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. More lemon? Have I suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn this opportunity to... Oof. Bit of sick came up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, Lemon Muffin. Do your worst. This is making me want to make lemon muffins. This is... delicious! Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I never would have guessed its vile bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See? We rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it has a starring role in all sorts of recipes, and the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at your disposal, and sometimes that can even be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the Forum agonized over what was worth preserving, and what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we're to survive. Such strength of will. Now I know what Heidelin sees in your kind. Mankind, the Loprits, we were both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of sentient life and the fates of the stars themselves. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly, and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal. 'Tis the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations, since time immemorial, have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What then is the alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect. To be content with what we have and make the most of it. Okay, no, but like striving, like even if you acknowledge perfection is not realistic, you should still be striving for the best you can be. This just feels like a different kind of nihilism. When life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins. Pardon my Eorzean, but what in the seven hells are you on about? And who are you, anyway? Cooking way, at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon.
And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing them, growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many of Aetherius' species as possible, if you're up to the challenge.
Yes, of course. I look forward to it.
Well, this has all been highly productive. Probably. Let's go and see if Urianger and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we?
Uh-huh. So he's one of the forum's lunar collaborators. Not quite what I was expecting, but he seems a decent sort. I'm glad he enjoyed the lemon muffin, too. Hopefully the next time he has one, he won't be compelled to wax poetic about the meaning of life and the immaculate carrot again. Like, this is my issue, is that, like, thematically / like, message-wise, Endwalker kind of feels all over the place. Because on one hand, it's about not leaving anyone behind and not giving up. And to keep on trying no matter what. On the other hand, Heidelin's plan of evacuating and just abandoning the planet just feels like giving up. And Vinaz's message from the cutscene, which aligns with what Cooking Way is saying, it just feels, like I said, like a different kind of nihilism, where it's like, oh, we're just gonna accept suffering and accept that nothing is perfect and not even try for perfection. And it's like, no, you should still try for as good as you can possibly get things. Like, you should still be doing your best, and maybe your best means something different from somebody else's best, because doing your best and perfection are two different things. But there's a difference between, we're just gonna make the most of it, but like otherwise give up and not even try, and doing your best and having that sense of perseverance and stuff.
Oh, there you are. Oh. Have the others finished talking about Rain making whatsits yet? Where have you and Cookie Way been? If the two of you were engaged in pursuits of an educational nature, you should have taken me too. I'm the leader after all. No, not to rub it in, but we had the most fantastic time while you were away. Urianger was able to obtain all manner of meteorological data for us to pore over. I'll be sure to put my newfound knowledge to good use once we return to this moon. It's my duty to make your journey as comfortable as possible, though there's no telling how long it will be. 100 years? 1,000? Probably closer to 5,000, give or take.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be anybody left on in the moon at that point. We all would have killed each other. By Cooking Way's broad grin, I assume your excursion was a roaring success.
That was most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, do you know of any other places famed for their cuisine?
The Bismarck.
Yeah, it's the home to the Culinarians Guild and many less than savory establishments.
The Far East has oodles of noodles. I'm gonna go with this one. The Far East has oodles of noodles.
Would that I had time to visit. The more I learn of Aetherius, the more I wish we could spare it from the final days. Alas, Heidelin's orders are to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way.
Maybe you should defy her orders and help us resist. What's this quest? I think I'm actually gonna wrap things up there for tonight. Because we are almost at the 3-hour mark. It is almost 10:30. I am an eepy shizu. So yeah. I will be back on Friday at 8 o'clock Central for Friday Night Rights. If you want more Final Fantasy XIV, I will be continuing with MSQ on Sunday, starting at 4:30 Central. And then, let's see. Yeah, Sunday, 4:30 Central, and then Monday, Tuesday, or not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, starting at 7:30 Central. Also more Final Fantasy XIV. Hopefully within the next week or so, we should be wrapping up with with Endwalker. I might have miscalculated. It might be another like 2-3 weeks, but we're getting there. We're in the whole home stretch. So yeah. In the meantime, let's find somebody on Twitch for me to send you guys to. Who's streaming right now? Who's streaming Final Fantasy XIV right now that we can raid? Oh, we have a Sprout! Okay. And their model is very cute, but it looks like they're on like just their second stream of Final Fantasy XIV. Oh. All right, we are gonna raid Sierra VT. Looks like they're at the very beginning of their Final Fantasy XIV journey, so let's go give them some support, water that Sprout. And until I see you guys again, I hope you have a good night, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care. Bye-bye. Whoop.